If you're an Oxford fan watching this, or if you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan, what can you say? This season, you get the feeling that the fortunes for both of our sides, promotion in Wednesday's case, obviously relegation in our case, isn't going to be settled probably until the very last kick of the ball on the final day of the season. Hello everybody and welcome back to another review of this Oxford United season. Today, the Yellows were live on Sky at home to Sheffield Wednesday. It's the first home game in charge for Liam Manning after getting 2 draws on the road. Well. Things have tightened up at the top and down the bottom of the league. More importantly for Oxford, down the bottom with a lot of sides winning. But United were not beaten today. It's another draw for Liam Manning. It finished Oxford United 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. And I'm going to go over some team news and I'm going to give my thoughts on the game, give some player ratings, those all-important player ratings, and then give my final thoughts. You can jump to any part of the video using the time codes down in the description or on the video itself, and that's fine. Feel free to do that. But if you could hit that like button, that helps me out so much. And if you like the content, think about subscribing to the channel. So let's have a look at the team news, starting with the Yellows, Oxford United, and rather surprisingly, the first time, I can't remember the last time Oxford did this. Certainly it wasn't a prominent thing for Robinson to do, but Oxford named an unchanged side. It was an unchanged side from the side that got that battling, hard-fought point against the Posh last time out. So you still had the likes of Murphy in the side with Wiltshire, Marcus Brown and Kyle Joseph up top, trying to provide that attacking spark that's just been missing from Oxford United all this season, really. But the one thing I would say most Oxford fans were pleased about was the shape and was the fact that we just looked like we got a bit more of a backbone about us. So no surprises really to see an unchanged side. We've still got a lot of players out with injuries, but as do Sheffield Wednesday. The Owls did start the day on top of Sky Bet League One. They have slipped out of those promotion places after that draw, but they are not in the best of form. And I can tell you, as an Oxford fan living in Sheffield and working among a few Sheffield Wednesday fans, whoa, you guys take negativity to a whole new level. All week, I've basically just had Wednesday fans saying, you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us, we're not going to win. And one guy even said to me, after the Bolton game, he came out when you drew 1-1 with Bolton, and he said Wednesday aren't going to win another game for the rest of the season. So far, he's been pretty bloody spot on with that, but it's unreal, the negativity for a side at the top, and I'm sitting there in 20th place thinking, crikey, you think things are bad with you. You feel like what we've been through for the last 13 games as it is now. But the weird thing is as well, Wednesday fans, and you can just let me know about this, it's a bit of a tangent, you seem to enjoy it and revel in it. I got the feeling that you almost like wanted, in a way, a weird little way, for Oxford to win today, so I would go in, the people I work with anyway, so I could go in and they could say I told you so to me. It's very, very strange. It seemed a battle of who was going to get the bragging rights by who was going to lose, really, more than anything else. Weird a wonderful place to live is Sheffield, I must say. But getting back to Wednesday, look, it's not been great. It's 6 games, including this one now, where they haven't won. 2 key players out for them. They had a few players out, but the main ones are George Byers and Josh Windass. And obviously, throw in that today, Michael Smith being out injured too. That is their main 2 goal threats out injured today. I think 30 goals between Windass and Smith, so that's an incredible number for them to lose. But it is still a strong Wednesday side. You can't deny that. You've got the likes of Barry Bannon in there. Obviously, he gets all of the headlines. But you've got Lee Gregory and you've got Malik Wilkes in there. So it's still a strong Wednesday side, are just not playing. They don't seem like they're just playing with the belief that they had when they went on that long unbeaten run. Going into the match now, I'm used to these games being, certainly when we were under Robinson, having tons of notes to write on these games. Like, just it seemed to be like end-to-end, chance. Oxford miss a bunch, go and the other team scores a bunch, and it seemed like I've got 1,000,001 notes. But under these games under Manning, very, very little to talk about. Oxford very just quite happy to let Wednesday have the ball. Wednesday not really doing anything with it. You know, the only shots really came from long-range efforts, which were quite easy from Eastie. Let's talk about Eastie. My goodness, what a shaky start into the game, and what a dodgy first half after keeping his first clean sheet. He nearly made a balls up of 2 back passes in the first 3 minutes that Oxford got away with. And then James stung the palms of Eastwood. Probably Wednesday's best shot in the first half, but it was comfortably enough save. But it was just such a dull game. It was nothing really happening. Oxford just seemed quite happy just to sit off Wednesday, quite happy to just keep the game at 0-0 and just stay in the game for as long as you can. It's very odd to see Oxford playing this way. We're not used to it. It is nice, again, nice to see the defensive shape. I don't think we're going to enjoy that for longer periods of time, but we do know that is just a matter of getting over the line. Very limited in terms of what we offered going forward. There was a great free kick into the box by Marcus Brown, who again probably looked Oxford's brightest spark, which one of those ones that's just curled in, went all the way through. It just needed anybody, an attacking player, a defending player, to get a touch on it, and it would have gone into the back of the net, but it didn't, and Stockdale was able to do well, actually, keep his eye on it and keep it out. But this game hinged in the first half on individual brilliance, and that what you got from Barry Bannon in this one. Again, some shaky moments at the back for Eastwood, where a ball across the box, which he just seemed to chase and not be able to get on the end of it, and then Oxford weren't able to clear him. But it didn't look like we were in any immediate danger, and Barry Bannon got the ball on the wide left. He was marked by Wiltshire. I don't think Yannick Wiltshire did much wrong here, other than him just allowing Barry Bannon to get inside. He didn't really give him that much space, but he didn't need a lot of space, and he's curled a beautiful effort. A really wonderful goal into the far corner. Eastwood couldn't really get anything. If people are saying that Eastwood's fault for that, no. That's a wonderful, wonderful goal. If anybody has scored that at any level in the Premier League, they'd be going crazy about it. It is Wednesday's match-winning player stepping up and delivering a moment of brilliance in a game that was absolutely nothing. You couldn't say Wednesday deserved to be 1-0 up at half-time, but you know that's where they found themselves, and you just came in at half-time thinking, you know, what can we offer? What can we change now? It's the first time we've been behind under Manning. Is he going to be able to change anything? Again, it was so poor going forward. Probably Kieran Brown, other than Marcus Brown, probably looked the most likely creative player, which shows you how out of sorts the likes of Wiltshire and obviously Murphy are, and Joseph just looks a little bit lost playing up top by himself. You know the score at the end of the game, and Oxford did come out and produce a much better second half performance in terms of going forward and creating chances and looking more of a threat. But they did ride their luck at the start of the second half. It was Wednesday who started the second half on the front foot, but mainly it started with Stuart Frindley making a mistake. Didn't make many mistakes there, but here is we made one. We misread the bounce of a ball, and Wilkes got in, and he forced Eastwood into a good save. And 2 minutes later, Barry Bannon again producing a beautiful cross, which Wilkes got his head on it. Eastwood making a tremendous save. Eastwood had a great second half, actually, a really good. He kept Oxford in the game with these 2 saves. And then from that corner, it was Aidan Flint who seemed to get his win in the first header on every set piece. He won the header at the back post, and it went across. Wednesday player gets his head on it, very close range. It's very lucky that it was straight at Simon Eastwood, so he was able to keep it out. And you felt Oxford were very much under the pump in those early 5-10 minutes of the first half, but then they did start to create some stuff. And Gatlin O'Donkor, we talked about changes Manning could make. He did take Yannick Wiltshire off at half-time. He did bring Gatling O'Donkor up front, and his being the focal point made a big difference. It meant Joseph looked far more comfortable on the left, and Oxford did start to get some joy winning the ball in midfield and breaking on this Sheffield Wednesday side. There were times where Josh Murphy, he hit a good cross, maybe overhit it a bit, and Joseph couldn't get on the end of it. And then Joseph, on the other side, produced a good cross, which O'Donkor, again, it was Flint, brilliant bit of defending, kept O'Donkor away from it. But Oxford were starting to click into gear, but we've seen this before from United. Could we actually take our chance or get a goal when we're actually on top of the game? And again, one thing I would say is we haven't had a huge amount of luck this season. It didn't look like that was going to carry on when it looked like a blatant penalty on Stuart Findlay wasn't given when he was dragged to the ground from a corner. But Not long after that, Oxford did get their penalty. 67 minutes. It was Kyle Joseph cutting in from that right-hand side. A stinging shot. Stockdale spilt it. Marcus Brown went for the rebound. Defender on the ground blocked him. Brown very spectacularly fell over and won that penalty for Oxford United. If you're a Wednesday fan, you're going to be a bit pissed off about that one. But I'm just going to say we probably should have had one a little bit earlier. Maybe that's the referee making up for a mistake. She did make some. She let the game flow, didn't she? Don't take that out of context. She let a lot of things go in the game for both sides. Maybe there was a little bit of evening it up on this one. But I'll tell you what, it's the first penalty we've had since we had that one at Hillsborough. So we don't get a lot of penalties. Great chance for Oxford to get it. So nervous waiting for Brannigan to step up and take it. But Brannigan is the man. Smashed it into the back of the net. Stockdale went the right way. Stockdale got a hand on it, but it was too powerfully hit from Brannigan, and Oxford are back in the game at 1-1, and you wouldn't have ruled out Oxford going on to win the game. Best chance they had was Elliot Moore. Free kick in from, I think it was from Marcus Brown or Brannigan again. Elliot Moore, free header, powered his header, but it was too close to Stockdale, and he tipped it brilliantly over the bar. That was the last we saw of Elliot Moore. He went off maybe with a concussion. It's a head injury of some sort, which I'm going to guess that was the only reason why they would have taken him off, which makes you think he's not going to play the game at Port Vale, which is a big miss. But we did see some new faces, didn't we? We saw Negru come on for Oxford United. We've not seen him. So another Irish guy we got out of the Irish leagues coming on. Fleming came on as well, and later on the game, Ossian Smith came on too. But yeah, it became a matter of Oxford not really wanting to risk too much because we've got a point in the bag here. Wednesday, they huffed and puffed, but they didn't. I don't think they played with a side with a lot of belief. And Oxford still looked a threat on the break because Brandon Fleming made a good run and he just couldn't get a crossover to O'Donkor. I think Stockdale came out and saved it well. And O'Donkor got free again on the Wednesday right-hand side, but the angle was too tight and there was nobody up supporting him. He couldn't really do anything with it. You needed him to do a really special finish from there and he couldn't provide it. Yeah, and as I say, Wednesday didn't create too much, but there was a scary moment at the end where Brandon Fleming kind of dived in the penalty area and it looked, well, I mean, the Wednesday fans shouted for it, of course they did, and you were just waiting for the referee to blow her whistle and give the penalty. But looking at it again, it was a wonderful tackle from Brandon Fleming. Weird one at the end of the game. It seemed like Brannigan did a blatant handball on the edge of the box. It looked like the referee gave the foul, or he gave the free kick, but then the game restarted with a drop ball, and Oxford cleared it, and the ref blew up. Happy days, I'll take it. Look, we're still in a precarious position, and sides have closed that gap around us. But the last two games against Peterborough and Sheffield Wednesday, I think most people weren't really expecting many points, and we've got two. But it does mean we need to start getting some wins. Wednesday, please beat Accrington. The next game, please beat Accrington in the next game. And then you can just win every other game and go up. I don't care. But please beat Accrington in the next game. And let's move on to my all-important and much heralded, and I'm sure all the players can't wait for these ratings to come out of this Oxford United team. Starting with Simon Eastwood, I'm going to give Eastwood a 6 out of 10. I thought he was ropey in the first half. I thought he was really good in the second half. But, you know, bit of good, bit of bad. So 6 out of 10. Sam Long gets a 7. Solid from Longy again. So, you know, 7 out of 10. The same for Kieran Brown. He probably Oxford's best player in the first half. 7 out of 10 for Brown. Never lets you down, does he? Stuart Findlay, starting to see the Stuart Findlay we wanted to see at the start of the season. Doesn't mess around, wins a lot of headers, wins a lot of challenges, very strong. One mistake in the game, 7 out of 10 for Findlay. Elliot Moore, 7 as well. Good performance again from Moore, just like with Findlay, really. Starting to see a proper defender emerging. Unlucky not to score. Worrying that he might miss the Port Vale game with a concussion, if it is concussion. Not many of these Oxford players jump above the pack, but I'm just going to give Brannigan an 8. Look, I mean, work rate, effort, commitment is all there from Brannigan. He got the penalty, he scored the penalty today, so he just gets the little bit more of a nudge and gets an 8 out of 10. Marcus McGuane gets a 7. Another battling performance from him in midfield. Not really off it, again, just solid, good on the ball. Doesn't really create too much, but good at what he does, and we're going to need him for the rest of the season. 7 out of 10. Josh Murphy, 6. Again, it just saw a little bit more of him in the second half when Oxford started to attack a bit more, but just can't get him in the game. He can't get into the game. Oxford just can't get him into the game. Surprising why he is playing above the likes of Tyler Goodrum. We'll see if that continues. I expect it probably will. And we're just hoping that one day Murphy just clicks and he has a magic game and he wins us a couple of matches. But it doesn't look like it at the moment. And that's the same for Yannick, really. I thought Yannick was really poor today. Just so ungainly, like Bambi on ice. Just like... 1 minute he's just like he's lazy and he's offside, and then he falls over the ball, and he just doesn't look like he's got any yard of pace about him. 5 out of 10. Again, it's work rate that I like from him and endeavour. But where are these attacking, creative, exciting wingers that we used to have for many years? We look so slow now. Kyle Joseph gets a 6. Again, I thought he was really poor in the first half, but in the second half when he switched out to the wing, he looked a lot better. He looked more threatening. A couple of good efforts in there as well from Kyle Joseph. It was his shot which was rebounded off Stockdale for the penalty. Much better in the second half, but 6 out of 10 for Joseph. Gatlin O'Donkor came on at half-time, and I'm going to give him a 7. I thought his effort changed the game, really. He was a focal point up front. He meant and again, for a teenager up against the defenders he's up against, he doesn't look overall, and he's strong enough to be able to hold the ball up. He's strong enough to be a nuisance up there, and he can bring other players into the game. I do think we look so hesitant to know whether you start with him or whether he's still going to be better coming off the bench, but he was good today, so it was 7 out of 10. Still wonder where these goals are going to come from. Fleming, Smith and Negru, I'm not going to give a grade to them because they came on too late, and I'm glad about Negru because I don't have a graphic for him. And we move on to Liam Manning. Liam Manning gets a 7 out of 10 from me. It was what I expected in the first half, Oxford to be. I wanted to see a little bit more impetus from Oxford United in the first half, but I get it. We're just trying to stay in games and not be 2-0 down before we start having to play. But I do think he made changes in the second half, and Oxford were a lot better. And you started to see that there is still attacking spark in this Oxford United team. It's not just going to be 0-0s and draw our way out of trouble. It's got to improve again. But again, it's still unbeaten. 3 draws, 1 not so good, 2 very good. 7 out of 10. But we go on to my final thoughts, and fact of the matter is, it is 13 games now since Oxford United beat Ipswich Town, which seems unbelievable, the run they've been on, in the fog in January. That has to change, and it has to change on Monday, I think. We need to go to Port Vale and get a win. If we don't win, I think we're in serious trouble. We really, I don't like to say must win, and obviously it's not in terms of mathematics, but I feel that is a game Oxford United have to go and get 3 points on the board, especially with the likes of Accrington, with Cambridge. Morecambe obviously threw it away today. Burton winning. Sides down the bottom are winning games of football or picking up points. Oxford have to break that barren run and get a win on the board. Port Vale lost 3-0 to Accrington today. Does that mean they're going to be a wounded animal? I bloody hope not. But it's going to be tense on Easter Monday, I can guarantee that. But we should go in with confidence. The fact that we've got a game plan now, we look a lot more solid, we look a lot more structured, and we needed a little bit of luck today. We got a little bit of luck, there's no denying that. But I do, and hopefully that continues as we go forward, because we are going to need it. We do need goals. But it does look like this Oxford United side has got some fighting spirits about it, and that is what makes me confident that we can still get the points and stay up. Sheffield Wednesday fans, I'm very interested to know your thoughts. You must be thinking that it's all slipping away from you. This is another side you've played down the bottom of the league and another side you've failed to beat. Don't really think you... Yeah, you had chances at the start of that second half. You probably should have gone 2-0 up in the game. but I don't think you really outclassed Oxford, and I think that's probably where you're going to be the most worried. You didn't come and like really dominate this Oxford side today that you probably would be thinking if you're seeing a side playing in first, playing a side playing in 20th. And I think that's the biggest worries. You do have key players out injured, and it does look like Darren Moore doesn't really know how to get that attacking spark and that creative ability into this Wednesday side. They look very organised, but they don't look particularly difficult to play against. And that might be the most damning thing at all. They don't look like... I've never really sat in the game today thinking this is a Sheffield Wednesday side that's going to carve us open like what I have when we've played a Barnsley or a Plymouth or an Ipswich. But let me know. Let me know. I'm sure I'm going to hear all manner of negativity when I go back to work next week. And I can't stress enough, please beat Accrington. Please beat Accrington at Hillsborough. So that's it from me, Oxford fans. Good point. Let me know your thoughts down below. Wednesday fans as well, let me know. But overall, I think good point. But, you know, need to back that up now on Easter Monday. And we need to get that win at the 14th time of asking. Enjoy your Easter weekend. We're back for a nervy Easter Monday video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.